Hello, my name is Jordan Evans, and in this video we'll be creating part 1 of the belt drive assembly. Part 1 is the bush. The bush is a standard part, so there aren't specific measurements on how to create it. However, we can infer from other measurements. For example, we do know that it's a standard 35 internal diameter by 45 outer diameter bush, and we know that it is as long as the housing, and we can also infer that it has a hole in the exact same place as the regular housing. Now this is where it gets tricky, because I've so gracefully forgotten this measurement here, how to get to this one here, and I've been racking my brain for about 10 minutes trying to figure out if there's any way you can add up like this 24, that 18. You can't. I have forgotten this measurement. So we will have to resort back to the original drawing, which I was hoping would not have to do. In this drawing, even though it's very crowded, you can see that there is 6 millimeters between this measurement here and this measurement here, so these two, and it's 5 millimeters from that to this here hole. We can then hop over to Inventor and we'll start designing the bush. We'll create a new standard part by clicking in the same place as I clicked. We will then start creating a new sketch. We will create it on the XY plane. You could even do it on the YZ plane, but let's do it on the XY plane. Now, if you remember from our drawing, it was 35 internal diameter and 45 outer diameter. Therefore, our internal diameter will make 35 by just typing and pressing enter. And our outer diameter is 45 with the exact same process. We will then extrude the width of the housing, which we can check by going over to our housing and seeing that it's 100 millimeters long. So we will extrude 100 millimeters and press enter. Then 2 more bits we have to create. We have to create this slim line under here, which is a gap of air that oil can then sit in. We all then also need to create this hole. First thing we will do is create this slim line. So to do that, we will start a new sketch on the surface of the end. Zoom in to make it easy. Now the best way to do this, in my opinion, is to do a 3-point center rectangle. We will pick our point that is at the intersection of this line and our internal diameter. We will go across 3 millimeters because we aren't given a specific measurement. So make sure it's at 0 degrees down there, and we'll go 3 millimeters. We will then create this whole thing to be 2 millimeters. Now, you may have seen my mistake. If the hole is 5 millimeters in diameter, the hole in the bush also needs to be 5 millimeters in diameter or greater. For this, we'll pick greater, just because it'll be easy, and we will go, let's go 7 millimeters to make it even on both sides. Then we will finish sketch, and we need to extrude. So you go zoom down to where you can see your shape, press E for extrude, alternatively press extrude up here, and we will extrude this rectangle, but this time we don't want to make a new shape, we want to cut the shape out of it. So we will go down here to cut, and we're going to press through all. It should already be 100 millimeters, but just in case, We're then going to press OK. This has now created a part, which if we zoom in to the right direction, which you can see has cut the whole way through. You can shift and middle mouse button to zoom around, and that seems pretty good. The next step we're going to do is we're going to create a hole. If we go to the end here, and now we can't really see this, can we? So there's two ways you can do this. You could either deal with it, or I don't like doing that, so we're going to go View, Half Section View, by going over to View, tap our surface, and we're just going to drag it out just a little bit. Not too much, but say 3 mils does the job. Now we can actually see what we're doing. So again, we'll start our sketch on this plane. So by starting sketch, then what we'll do is we will create a circle, and we're just going to place it pretty much anywhere here. Just going to go there, and this circle will be 5 millimeters in diameter, because if we look at our drawing, and we go down to our housing again, it is 5 millimeters in diameter here. Then we will dimension to set it a specific dimension away from specific things. The center of the circle to the edge, we figured it out before by looking at this drawing, was 5 millimeters plus the 6 millimeters. So if you can't do that in your head to get 11, we just go 5 plus 6, and that put us 11 millimeters away from the edge. Now we need this to be in the center, so if we quickly dimension between here and here, this will add a dimension that we've already made before. We made this to be 7. So it will add what's called a driven dimension. But this is useful because if we now go to the edge here, we can then create a measurement from the edge, and we want this to be exactly halfway. So rather than doing the calculation ourselves, we can just click on this one here and divide it by 2 by doing a /2, same as you would on a calculator. Then press tick, and it will automatically put it in the exact center, and it will always have 11 millimeters away. We can then finish sketch, and like before, we want to extrude, so we will press E, or press this. We want our surface, and we want to cut it. And now, although yes, 10 millimeters will be enough, we want to click through all, which will give us 4 millimeters, which is however far we really need. Then press OK, and that is done. We now have a bush. We can view, and then where we had half section view, go delete section view. This will let us view the whole thing again. We've now created a bush. Something I like to do to make it look nice is we will go under our materials list, steel polished, and now it's shiny. You might leave it as this. This looks good. The very last thing you want to do is press save, and we want to just press OK. We then want to save this part as under your file. You want to save this part as push, and press save, and you're done. Thank you for watching.